Hey guys!
Welcome back
to the You're Not Crazy podcast.
Or maybe you are, but you're in good company.
You are in great company. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to the You're Not Crazy podcast.
But if you are in great company.
Great company. So guys, as you can see, we have the hubsters here. And it's going to be an interesting podcast because our husbands have been friends for how many years?
15 plus.
Something like
Jeez
that.
Louise.
That is a long time.
And they are they're terrible together. So we're gonna try to keep it as appropriate as possible.
Like y'all ain't terrible together.
Yeah, but we're poised.
Okay.
At least on camera we try. I'm not poised on camera at all, now that I think about it. But so we have the hustlers here. And this is in honor of Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So we're excited about this. We planned this earlier on this year, and we were like, oh, we should definitely bring our husbands on. So we'll start with Mr. I was about to call you Mr. Columbus, but we'll start with Norman. Huh?
What you want to know about?
Okay.
What do you want to know?
We want Norman to tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your career? What are you into? What things?
Bored.
All that good stuff.
Man, my head is these days just swimming in real estate. Mm-hmm. So I'm a real estate agent. I started buying real estate for myself back in 2018. Started helping other people buy about 2 years ago. Born and raised in Columbus. Most of my family is still here. About 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, I was at the bank. I think you guys remember when I was at the bank.
Yep.
And most of my life revolves around real estate
and money.
Money and family and church. Yeah. So one thing about me is when I find something I'm interested in, I tend to get super focused on that. So for a while it was music. Everybody kind of knew me from music. As a matter of fact, we were in the gospel.
That's how
at one time we were all in the gospel choir together in college.
Yep.
So that's funny. So it was music, and then it was like Bible studies and history and all that kind of stuff. Now it's real estate. So that's my thing now.
Yeah. Which is funny because Norman and I used to live down the hall from each other in the dorm room.
Oh boy.
I met Norman in college, and we have some hilarious stories, but the one that's the most prominent, I don't know. So we lived in an older building that was renovated, but it was still old. And one of the windows, we had these really tall windows in the room, and I guess it was an opening. I guess I never noticed it because the windows were so tall and the ceilings were so high. It was kind of like a loft style apartment. I never noticed that there was an opening in the window, but I will never forget. It was a random Saturday morning, or like a Friday morning or something. We clearly didn't have classes, and I was in the bed, and all of a sudden I heard, and I was like, "What is that?" It was a bird in my blind. Heard what? Yo, I was knocked out. And all I heard was this bird's wing flapping against my blinds. And I got up so fast and ran down the hallway. I was like, Norman! No, I was banging on the door. He was like, he came to the door. This is when Norman still had hair. He had a do-rag on. He was like, Tam, is everything okay? I'm like, it's a bird. Norman came in the room. At that point, the bird was gone. But when I tell y'all, I literally died. Norman came in our room for rats. He done came in for roaches.
Yeah, lizards probably.
Yes, everything. So, and I used to have Norman running late to church. I didn't realize what he was until I joined the choir at church. I would literally we had to be there at 8:40. I would be getting up at 8:40. He'd be like, Tam? He'd be knocking on the door. I'm like, I'm coming. Literally rolling out of the bed. So we have so many funny stories. We can do a podcast about that just by itself.
That's funny.
So
a library.
Literally. So, babe.
I'm Cody. A better question is, what do I not do?
That's true.
That's what it feels like. Norman finds one thing and focuses on it. My brain has 80 TV channels. That's all on at once.
That's a good way to explain that. Mm-hmm. I feel like it. Mine don't have 80 TV channels, but more like 60. Go ahead, finish what you were saying.
But no, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm trying to think.
Sir, you are lots of things other than a husband and father.
I know. I'm just trying to think of
Which ones are worth mentioning?
which ones are worth mentioning. But no, I'm enjoying my career. Currently I've been working for this insurance company for the past 6 years, almost 7 years, and gotten to a place where I can be a leader and affect change, personally. So it's a place that means a lot. So I'm having a lot of fun and enjoying that space, even though it's taking more time than I would like it to sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I definitely enjoy it, for sure.
He also edits this podcast and several other YouTube channels. He's also into music.
Yeah.
And ministry.
See?
You just dropping the ball when it comes to introducing yourself.
A dope rapper.
Thank you.
A very dope rapper.
A lyricist. An MC.
A what?
He don't even talk about that no more, but he
I really
is.
don't, yeah.
Y'all can go check his music out on Apple Music. Cody Paul Music. You can find him, Cody Paul. Pull him up.
Thank you, babe.
It's
But,
worth a listen.
It is.
She does better
It's actually
introductions
really good.
of me than I do of myself.
Well, I'm trying to hype you up. Okay, anyway. So we wanted to ask the question, and popcorn style, whoever wants to go first. Husbands. We wanted to ask the question, why? Because a lot of times people ask, why did you get married, or why did we get married, you know? But we want to ask the question, why are you staying married? Like, what made you stay? Because we would be we would not be honest to say that marriage is hard and you have to fight to stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to walk away. It's hard to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And so what makes you stay? Why do you stay married?
Why do you stay?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I mean it's layered. There are many reasons that you stay. There's no one reason that you stay in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably one of the greatest personal reasons is just being in the fight with someone that you know cares about you, someone that has your back, right? Like most of the time, I feel like we're going through life together, and most of our frustration towards each other is really because of the fact that we're going through different things. Mm-hmm. And it shows a lot when we're not in our normal schedule. Like we had this conversation at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. We had a chance to be without the kids for like the first time, like without the kids for like a week. Mm-hmm. And it was so peaceful. And that's not a shot at our kids. I mean, kids are kids.
It is what it is, yeah.
But we have different ideas about how to raise the kids and what's best for them and who should be doing what and X, Y, and Z. But there are so many different responsibilities that come up during the week that we lash out because we're the only two adults in the family or in the household who can understand everything that's going on.
Right.
So, naturally there's that fussing and fighting. But at the end of the day, when we come back, it's like, man, this is somebody that is going through life with me, somebody that really loves me. Mm-hmm. So I would say that that's the greatest personal thing. But then there's also the other attachments too, right? It's like we built a family together. Mm-hmm. Like we have 3 lovely children, 2 twins, a 2-year-old as
we'll
a
clarify
Wednesday.
that, not 2 twins.
Oh, a set of twins.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
The 2 are each other's twins. But we have 3 children, 2 6-year-olds and a 2-year-old. And we built that together. Mm-hmm. All of the hours that we put into developing, that's worth staying.
Right.
And then also the progress that we've made. Mm-hmm. We made a ton of progress. So things that,
that's sweet.
We have.
No, we have, but that's sweet.
I mean, there are some times that things, Anna will be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you don't like that. And I'm like, I forgot I didn't like that. Like, I forgot. That's so small now that, I don't even think about it. Yeah. And so, I feel like a lot of times walking away from the marriage means that I forfeit all of the progress that we put into the relationship. So it's layered, it's tiered, but you know there are a number of reasons that I stay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't help that you're easy on the eyes.
I knew something was coming. Not easy on the eyes. Didn't I say that? I said somebody was light on the eyes earlier today, didn't I?
You said something like
I said,
that.
yeah, she's easy on the eyes. She's light on the eyes. It's always easier for us
Doesn't
to
hurt.
digest.
Lord Jesus. No, I can second that, bro. There definitely is multiple reasons. I'll even say it this way. There are reasons to stay that have nothing to do with each other. Mm-hmm. It has to do with the fact that there has to be a showing that marriage is important and that it's valuable. And that it takes work and that both people have to be willing to do the work. But one thing you said, bro, it stuck with me. It's no, I'm not walking away from this because that means that I forfeit all of the progress that was made. Because I think when Tam and I started dating 14 years ago, how young and stupid.
Oh, God. We were dumb.
We both were. And to get to the point now where sometimes I feel old and stupid, it's you know, there's definitely been a whole bunch of progress along the way. And even though we're not 100% where we want to be, we're definitely way closer to where we want to be than we are to where we were. So that's, you know, just what comes to mind initially. Yeah.
That was good, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give the same answer, so I just chose something just a little different.
Well,
because you fine too, but anyway.
Thanks,
Yes,
babe.
sir.
Listen. Sis look fine. Sis look good. Okay, go ahead.
I just like to watch her walk away from me. That's all.
Hello.
That's his favorite thing to say all the time.
It's true.
Okay, babe. I'm glad you like to see me walk away.
Yeah, but I love to see you come back.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
Bless the Lord.
Anyway, guys, I'll go and say why why I stay. I don't know. This may just sound very. I'll say this: love is not a reason to stay because you can love somebody and it not be right. Does that make sense? Love is not enough.
It's definitely not enough.
To stay or go, you know. But for me, I do deeply love you in a way that I've never. Because kind of think about like the progress portion, but for me, it's I have somebody that understands me to my core. I ain't gonna find that nowhere else, and I don't want to.
You don't put in the work to. Yeah,
I don't want to because you understand how I move, how I shake. You understand all of my isms and my schisms. Like you get me, and that took time, but not just time. It's because you loved me enough to say, I want to learn everything about you so that I can be who I need to be for you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But also I stay because I don't have a reason to leave. Like
that's a bar.
We get pissed off at each other. I mean, we go at it, but when it's good, it's good. You know what I'm saying? And I literally don't. You've not given me a reason to leave. Like it's almost like how you can't do anything to God that will make Him not still love you. And I don't want to compare my love to Him for the love for God. I mean, nothing's comparable to that. But what I'm saying is, there's not much you can do to make me say I'm done with this. Like I'm here. I'm fighting. I'm not going anywhere. The only way is if God forbid something happens to you, and or you get to the point where you're not the man I married, then that's different. You know what I'm saying? We go through phases where we might not be the same, but to the core of who you are, you're still that same person.
Well, I'll say it this way. I don't want to be the man you married, but I don't want to be worse than the man you married.
Yeah. Like the man, Cody himself, the core of who you are.
Because if it's 15 years or 10 years later and I'm still the man you married, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
But
I don't want to be worse than that man.
No.
Yeah.
The core, the core of who you are.
Right.
And I'm not walking away unless it gets to a point where it's just extremely toxic and something is, seriously wrong. But other than that, there's nothing, I don't have a reason to leave.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people, nowadays, we were just talking before we started filming, like so many couples our age, and even couples that have been together for 40 and 50 years, they're literally walking away from their marriages.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa, like, I can't picture myself doing that because where I'm going? Where am I going? Like, no.
The part that gets me is nowadays, they walk away from their marriage and stay friends. And I'm like, wait a minute.
And be besties. And
So,
I'm like, if y'all just want to be friends, just say that.
But you've been married for 30 what? So just not being in the house together made you be best friends?
That's a bar, though. Some people, it's sad, some people will walk away and realize how good of friends they are. And the sad part is, you got to learn how to be friends in the marriage.
Yep.
That's how you keep it. You learn how to be friends in the marriage. That's why I love when Cody and I, if the kids are down, and we have 3 kids as well, but the kids are down and I love when we can just sit in the bed and goof off and laugh and just have a good time and work on building relationship with each other outside of, oh, that's my husband and wife. Like, we are legit friends. We have inside jokes. We laugh at stuff. That's important to us. My parents have been married for 42 years. And they still have inside jokes and be laughing about the most corniest stuff. And I be looking at them like, really? But they're friends. You know what I'm saying? So I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Because I love you. But I just want to,
It's a bar though when you say, it said why I stay is I don't have a reason to leave. Like, that's a bar.
Just
like,
put
you got
that on the screen.
Yeah. Because you got to think about it like, Nine out of the 10 reasons people give to leave marriages now aren't reasons to leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's just being spoiled and being wanting your way all the time. And now when you don't get it, you walk out of a whole marriage because your husband didn't take out the trash every day like you asked him to. He only took it out once a week, and now you're not married no more.
Baby, if that's the reason.
Right.
I would pray that it's not.
Lord.
I would pray that it's not, yeah.
Why you ain't left me?
I was just about to say, Anna.
Why you ain't left me?
Because of that.
Because of that right there.
I think what makes me stay, honestly, is, like, I really just like you. Like so extra. I think, too, when we first started dating, which I thought was interesting, is that you were such a, like, what's the word? You just seemed so poised. There was just a certain air about you, but I don't want to say that in a negative way because you weren't, like, stuck up or anything. But, like, I just remember when I got to see that other side, like that goofy side, I was like, okay, I can rock with this because I was a little nervous. At first, I was like, he is really saved.
What you mean by that?
Let's just say, like, there'll be
He
times.
got Jesus on speed dial.
I mean, like, on speed dial. And I think Jesus has him on speed dial, too. Like, I was like, they are besties. Like, I'm still working out my salvation, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, too, and I mean, I understand now, like, I think that was also a persona put on you that was never truly you, and it was just like an idea of what we all perceived of you and what some people said that you were. And it's not that you're not saved. Like, you're definitely a man of God. That's one thing. We are very blessed to have men who are men of God. Like, not just saying it, like, they truly are that. And so I think, but once I got to see the core of who you are, I think for me, I was like, it's just too precious for me to, one, not take care of, but one, like, I truly felt like it was a blessing to be in your presence, if that makes sense. And so then when we got into relationship, I was like, I just like him. Like, I don't see me wanting to be bored with anybody else but him. Like, and I tell him this all the time, even after we've, like, gone through a hard, I wouldn't even say, like, day or argument. Like, you go through moments in marriage, like, where it just, like, you just have seasons of just being like, y'all are just hiking up the hill, and it just seems like the hill never stops. But you just, and once you get to the top, you're just like, oh. And I just remember telling him, I was like, I don't want to be in these hard times with anybody else but you, because I feel like I know that even if I don't like you in that moment, like, even if you have irritated me, I still don't want to be irritated with anybody else but you. Like, I just want you in my presence. Like, I want us to stay connected, and that's what keeps me wanting to work towards those things and through those things for us to stay, because I truly just feel blessed to be in your presence. You know what I mean? Being your wife is like icing on the cake. You know what I mean? But the cake is just being in your presence, and I just genuinely like you. Like, I just think that you're corny, and even though you say I don't laugh at all your corny jokes, I love your corny jokes. I just don't always laugh because they're sometimes are said at moments that I'm aggravated.
I was gonna say, you don't laugh at none of mine.
They both do the same thing, and Anna and I laugh about it. But, like, Cody cracks corny jokes all the time, and I get annoyed because he does it when I'm not in the mood.
Yes.
And I'm just like, why are you, shut up.
And then he'll,
why
like,
are you doing that?
I'll send him something of somebody saying a corny joke, and I'll be cracking, I know you were, and I'll be cracking up at it. He just be like, if I would have said it, you know. And I'm just like, yes.
Fact.
Because you
That's
say it
fact.
in the moment where I'm aggravated. Like, I could be he could walk in the house and see I am, like, visibly pissed off. Like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, nothing. Here he come doing just stupid stuff. Like, hey, how you doing? You know, and I'm just like, I just get so angry. I'm like, you're making it worse. And he just be like, but what's wrong?
Yeah.
But what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm about to cut off your fingers. Like, stop touching me.
Bro, I'm convinced we need to wait till they go to the bathroom, just record ourselves, and then send it on Instagram. And then I think they'll laugh.
It would be the funniest thing in the world.
Exactly. The funniest thing in the world. We gotta wait. Laundry room.
No. You have to send it to Tam, and she'll send it to Anna.
Right.
And then it'll be funny.
And then it'll be funny, right?
Yep.
Gotta be validated first.
Yep.
Whatever.
And then vice versa.
Vice versa.
I send it to Anna, she sent it to Tam.
I'm over it.
But, I mean, anyways, I tell him timing is everything. Like, timing is everything. Like, could you choose a better moment?
Because when I'm in a good mood, I'll laugh.
Right. But he was like, no, I'm trying to get you out of that funk. I'm just trying to get you out of that. I'm just like...
It ain't even for that. For me, is I will forget if I don't tell you this right now. So you gonna get this right now?
You gonna get it now?
If not, I'm
gonna
gonna
be like, babe, listen to this. I'm like, babe, I'm not in the mood. But I just want you just a few minutes. And I'll be like... Then I'm aggravated while I'm watching it. It'll make me laugh, but I'm still aggravated. And then he'd be like, waiting for me to... And I'm like, I'm still aggravated. That didn't change the aggravation.
Change nothing. And sometimes, like, Norman will do something that makes me even more irritated. So now he just be like, what? And I'm just like, because now I'm, like, you've now taken me over the edge. Like, just leave me alone. And then he just be like, well, fine. And then he gets an attitude. And I'm just like... If you would have just given me 10 minutes,
I would have been fine.
And I'd be like, okay, I'm ready. He'd be like, I don't forgot now. I'm like,
facts.
So now we both got an attitude.
Story of my
like
life.
Yep.
Story of my life.
And now,
oh my God.
It's gone now.
And next thing he'd be like, yes. He'd be like, it's not funny.
The vibe is gone.
It's not funny anymore. I'm like, okay.
It's funny. Just
give
me a moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I share something about Anna, which I thought was hilarious? And when I start
slightly nervous.
when I
Go
start
ahead.
this story, she's gonna know in a second. So, I think it was 2 mornings ago. I was, she already knows. I was getting myself ready, right? And normally I get the kids going. We put a 10-minute timer on, and they're doing stuff, and they're dancing and get stuff together. But Anna had to do a little bit, step in, and do some stuff. Guys, I came out. All 3 of my kids watching TV, faces just greased down.
Oh, they was greased.
Like they live in Canada, getting ready to go out in sub-0 degree weather. And I'm like, baby, are you getting ready to like fry our kids? Turn them over in some flour and put them in the grease they had so
They
much
were
grease.
so greased up.
They were still greased when they got to school.
Yes.
I was like, you would have thought our kids living in Chicago.
They going out in a blizzard, bro.
But what made me crack up was I went in there. I was like, baby, because I had to know. I said, baby, did the kids get in the Aquaphor? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, did you put grease on their face or did the kids get in the Aquaphor? She's like, no, I did it. And I lost it. I lost it. I was like, baby, why did you put so much grease on their face? And then it was their faces too. They were looking at the TV like this.
The problem is Miss Kayla's one of our teachers that works with us. And she said, wow, she said, Matthew Torrey, you're really... She said, y'all are really greased up today. And then it was an accent. And then I was doing that little test. And I looked up, I said, man, this is so greased.
What time did y'all test them, Sam? I had to know.
It was about noon. It was about noon. About 11.
And our kids were still greased out.
When I say greased,
Listen, because sometimes like he'll be like, I'm gonna get him ready. You just get ready. And I'll be walking out looking at them. I'm like, why is your face look like that? They lips look like they ain't seen chapstick in 6 weeks. And I'm like, listen, I just had enough that morning. I'm like, y'all walking out got slob, toothpaste, dried toothpaste on their face. And Norman be like, yeah, they ready. I'm like, no, they're not. Ready for
oh my God, Cody be doing. I'm like, babe, did you put the jacket on? Oh, I didn't. I'm like, babe, Carson will have on different socks. He's like, babe, they're getting dressed. I'm like, babe, monitor them. He's like, okay, I'll go check. And Carson be having on. I'm like, baby, why don't Carson have a jacket on?
I be getting work done in the morning too, though.
Yeah.
But that is, yes, because they were so greasy.
And I kept trying to and I realized that I put too much later because I was like, when he was saying, he was like, why are they so greasy? I'm like, you just being so extra. And then when we finally got to school, because of course, when I was like, okay, let's go, like get in the car. And when we got to school and they got out the car, I was like, yeah, they got a little greasy.
Miss Kay was like,
I tried to rub it in, and I was like, I think that's just what you all gonna have to
they
look
were
at today.
greased.
By the way,
word.
I think I'm gonna go back to the first season till now and add a tier counter for Anna to see how many episodes in a row.
Happy tears, sad
I think
tears.
you're 9 out of 10 right now.
To see how many episodes in a row that there's been tears. Because I was like, dang, Anna crying at a moment where they don't even need tears, Lord.
Well,
It's really bad.
my eyes are so big that by the time the tear falls, you don't see it. Cause like I had a tear, but it's just still there.
I don't know why. And Norman said that back one day we were watching. I don't even know what we were watching. We were watching something, and who knows? But he was just like, but it wasn't like a movie or anything. I think I was watching either like a TV show or there's somebody that I follow on YouTube, and she was doing like renovations and stuff. But anyways, like Norman, we were watching it, and I was just like, and he just looked at me like this. He was just like, he just went and grabbed something. He was like, here you go. I was like, shut up, and took it because I did need it, but that was the point. He was like, Lord, you don't even know these people, and you crying. I'm just like, I don't know. Listen.
Well, I do have a question. I can
Okay.
ask Norman. You guys, Cody. But
Okay.
my question to you, Norman, is: we know why you stay. Well, one of you said it was multi-tiered, multi-layered. Why you stay married? But what are some of the things that drew you to Anna?
I love
Keep it PG.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't even think about this, but since we're talking about it. No, I just loved that I could finally be myself around someone that I also felt attracted to, as opposed to feeling like I had to have my guard up and wonder why that person was there. And there are, so when I was first interested in Anna, she wasn't trying to pay me any attention. Like, you had my number for at least 2 years.
I did. I told you I was scared you were saved.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So we passed the torch. I think, I passed the torch from the gospel choir to Byron. I think Byron passed it to you.
Yeah.
And so I reached out and I said, hey, if you need any help or assistance, just let me know. You had my number for 2 years before we even talked. I had to ask for permission to use her number again. But I knew that when she came along to be interested, it was because she was actually interested. Monique actually did the whole matchmaker thing. And at the time, she was like, look, I'm not talking to anybody until I graduate from college.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
I loved that because I was in an environment to where that may not have been the case. Because it was like, okay, Norman is going somewhere. He has his head on his shoulders. He's like a guy that you might make that exception for. Or if there was a female, you might be like, that's the female I'll make that exception for. She's like, no exceptions. Like, this is something that I take serious because it's a commitment that I make to God. So those are bonuses. So when she finally came into having a conversation with me, I knew that I had a real one. Outside of, other than that, like, you are a cornball too.
I am.
So it's like, I mean, she snorts when she laughs. I'm is that your real laugh? I was like, oh my gosh. And she does like little things that it's like, okay, she's really like a cornball. And so
stop. Don't you give no examples. I'm just trying to make sure. Go ahead.
Don't tempt me with a good time. But she does, and she's just like a genuine person. She's a sweet person, and in our maybe like the first 2 weeks of us being in a relationship, saying, okay, we're going to actually make this right. We knew, just because of the depth of the conversation, there were really no walls. Like, we understood like what it was that we wanted, and we wanted a lot of the same things. And so it made it easy to be like, yeah, this is somebody that I can see myself building a future with. So those are a number of the things that really drew me in to make me feel comfortable, safe. And when I looked at the core of who she was, especially getting to meet her family, you really have a solid foundation. Like, you really have a solid family. Like, your family has a lot of good characteristics and traits that I like. And so I see a lot of those things come out in the way that we deal with challenges. Even when we disagree. I think that's a huge one. So before we had kids, we would talk about what are we going to do with like disagreement. So like, at what age do we want our kids to date? If we have a disagreement, how do we settle those disagreements? Right? And so the way that she answered those questions for me let me know, okay, I have somebody that I can build a future with. She respects me as a husband, as long as I'm doing my job as a husband. And she's going to make it known what it is that she wants to do. But at the end of the day, she respects me enough to oversee like the direction of like what we're doing. Like, I'm the captain of the ship. If the ship goes down, it's on me. And she's cool with that. Like, you told me, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 nights ago, you were like, now I don't intend on this, but she was like, baby, I would, go to this nice house, but if we had to stay in this house for 10 years, I'd stay here. As a matter of fact, if we had to move into the car, I'd live in the car with us. And I'm like, yeah, maybe for like one night.
Listen, I wasn't pushing it. I was just saying if we had to. Right.
But, it's all of that is just saying, like, those are things that I can see from the beginning that let me know, okay, this is somebody I can see myself with 20, 30, 50 years from now.
That's dope. I like the answer.
Funny, before Anna asked me the question, funny story about Norman and Anna when they were dating. So, Norman is a vault. Norman keeps...
He's Fort Knox.
He'll be celebrated and nobody will know. Like, family won't know. Like, everybody will find out at the last minute. But he made a mistake. I was asked to come help Norma with some stuff with, I think it was dry, like washer and dryer with Anna and Dom. Hey Dom, I know you're watching. So Norman made the mistake and had Anna as his background on his phone. I looked down, I said, wait a minute.
Got to be more careful.
So I told her, I said, Norman, I saw your phone. He said, dang it. I was like, so what's, he was like, yeah, man. And he finally let me in, but it took me seeing the picture first.
That's hilarious.
To find out, and I kept it under wraps until everybody else figured it out.
Thank you for that, brother.
When he did that, I was like, when I noticed it, I was like, why do you have that on there? So we have not told people, because literally the only people who knew was Dominique, because we were living together, of course, and that's my best friend. So that was really it outside of like our family or whatever, because we hadn't said anything yet. And I also didn't want to say anything until I had like really talked to my parents and stuff like that. And so nobody knew. And so when he did that, I was like, Norman, you are chancing that. Like, why would you do that? He was like, don't nobody look at my phone. I'm like, babe, your phone. Like, I'm like, think about at church. If you have, like, you would keep his phone, like, on his leg or whatever during church. And I was like, what if it's, like, just sitting there on your leg and you get a notification? It's going to, like, pop up. I was like, and my face is right there. And he was like, ain't nobody going to see it. And I was just like, you are really taking a chance. So when he told me, he was like, so by the way, I was like, what happened? He was like, well, Cody saw my phone. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. I said, thank God it was Cody,
right,
and not anybody else, because if it wasn't Cody, like, it would be on Facebook at this point. Like, anyways.
Put your picture on my phone so I know it's real.
That's right. That's right.
That's what makes it real. Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to interject that.
So, Cody.
Okay.
What drew you to my fine sis over here?
So, operative word fine being the first thing. Because when I saw her walk in the choir rehearsal, I said, ooh, Jesus. Ooh, Lord. That's his.
Choir rehearsal, though.
That's his. And look, and y'all, Norman and I are men of the Lord, so I can say this out loud. When I first saw Tam, I was 20 and I wanted to smash. That's all I wanted to do. And I can say that out loud.
I hear you, my brother. Because
it's the truth. But what drew me to her past that was the conversations we would have. And she was a girl who had her head on her shoulders and knew what she wanted to do and had a plan, even though meeting me and marrying me changed it a little bit. You had a plan to get your master's degree. You still did that. That was one where you was like, it wasn't graduate. Yours was finish, or was it graduate?
I didn't want to date. I didn't want to date until the end of that semester.
Yeah, because that was a really difficult semester. But then I think when I started helping her with her schoolwork, she thought it was okay.
Well, it was November when we got to November 22nd, and the semester's over December, like 5th. Finals around
I was staying up helping her with final exams and everything. So,
yeah,
but anyway, it was getting to know all of her that drew me, because a lot of girls and women out there are beautiful, but then they could have the ugliest personality and be nothing that you want to stay with. You just pretty enough to have a good time with once, and that's it. But not to actually draw and stay and want to pursue a relationship, and to meet all those different sides of Tam, to see how serious she was about God. And I think one of the things that was interesting was you told me early on, you was like, you're one of the only people that I dated that I could say God told me something. Mm-hmm. And it didn't spook me because I knew where you were coming from. But we were kind of on the same wavelength spiritually too. Like, we could have those type of conversations and actually have dialogue versus the conversations where the other person just hearing you because they really don't know what you're talking about. So it was being intellectually being physically stimulated by the curves on both sides, bless the Lord, being being intellectually stimulated and spiritually stimulated. And again, she was the one, as far as what drew me, she was also able to help the Lord pull things out of me that I didn't know were there. Because I didn't have my head on my shoulders when I met her. I was a bum that was skating 3 times a week, and I didn't have a job. So, there's that. But that's, but yeah, it's those.
We were also very young when we met, so there's a
extremely.
difference. We were babies when we met.
We were
19 and 20.
Yeah.
Jesus. Ooh, I feel old.
That's crazy.
But I mean, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Meeting someone that's doing that at 20 is completely different than meeting someone doing
Baby,
that
because if I would have met Cody sir, what are we doing?
Yeah, and you're skating like when you get off of work.
That's a problem.
I mean, but I'm saying we can deal with that,
but not
when you get off of work. Yeah.
But another thing that kind of drew me is I absolutely adore, because I know they're gonna watch. I adore her family.
Yeah.
And they love me. It's like one of those families that you become a part of and you still a part of, even if the relationship don't work out. Like, it's one of those families. Unless you just do something crazy, you know.
Yeah, that's my family.
I'm still going out for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, facts. Like, I'm still getting a plate, but they just loved me overwhelmingly. So yeah, it was just everything. And I told the Lord, I didn't understand the dating thing. I didn't want to go from this person to this person to this person to this person. The next person I chose to be with was going to be my wife. And that's what happened.
That's right.
Yeah, it did happen.
Even though you told me I was crazy.
I did. Cody was like, "You're going to be my wife." I said, "Okay." I got off the phone with him so quick. I looked at Teresa and I said, "Girl, he is psycho." But what is he talking about, wife? Nobody's trying to be no wife. I'll say what drew me to you, Cody, and I know we're getting long-winded, so this will be our last. But and you got to answer your question too. But what drew me to you was what you mentioned. The very first conversation we ever had on the phone, we talked about God. And I remember at that particular time, I was talking to a lot of other dudes, just talking casually, wasn't nothing serious. And I remember just feeling...
Wait, just to give her credit. Because she was straightforward with me and was like, I don't want to get in a relationship. Because I just don't want to be in a relationship. But I kind of took that as a challenge. But go ahead. Even though I was upset when she told me she was talking to multiple people at once.
I did. I told her, I was like, hey, listen, you're not the only person I'm talking to.
She was honest. She was straight up with
Norman
me.
Knew Norman knew all my business. Norman knew all my business, but I knew I could tell him my business, but he didn't tell nobody his business.
He is a literal
Norman
boss.
knew all of my business. That's so fun. You helped me down, Norman. You could have really put me out down Front Street. But anyway,
letting all that go, I was like,
yeah, he was just sitting there, be like, I'm like, because and he's like, have you ever considered? I just be telling Norman all my business, but anyway,
Sorry.
But I remember talking to those other guys, and like they just intellect. It was only one other guy that I talked to that I was off and on with from high school that my parents loved. Super smart dude, but intellectually he was there with me. But like everything else, it was like spiritually, you ain't really talking about nothing. You don't have no ambition, no goals. Like, what are we doing here? And even though Cody did not have a job or a car, Cody had dreams. He had aspirations. I was like, I could work with that. And also, I had just turned 20. Cody was 19, about to turn 20.
Yeah.
So like we were babies when we met. And for me, I'm just kind of like, okay, so here we are having this conversation, and I literally said, God told me da da da, and he understood it, and I was like, because I've said that before, and they got the question, God told you, what you mean? Or, oh, okay.
And that was it.
And that was what clicked, and something in my head said, you gonna end up being with this dude. But at the time, I was like, I ain't taking him seriously, whatever. But then what also pulled me in to Cody was he's extremely talented. And I remember he he rapped a verse for me, And I was like, oh, because the first time I ever saw him at church, he was rapping on stage, and I automatically tuned him out. Because at the time, gospel rap was like lame to me because there wasn't any good gospel rappers out there. It was just bubblegum rap. So for me, I didn't even listen to what he was saying. I was like, oh, who the little white boy jumping on the stage, you know? But then when I actually heard, he wrote a song for me, and I was like, oh, he can actually spit for real. Like, okay. And then what I also really appreciated about Cody was he was hilarious. We used to laugh and goof off all the time. We were interested in a lot of the same things, music, a lot of the same TV shows, just things like that kind of pulled us in. And he was consistent and he was loyal. And I needed consistency at the time because a lot of the guys I was talking to that I was interested in, they were playing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cody would text me. If I text him, he texts me right back. He would text me in the morning, good morning, things like that. Now, granted, Cody was a little smooth talker. He's the same message he was sending me, he was sending other little girls. But I guess eventually he realized, okay, that's the one. Literally copying and pasting the same message. So I had gotten mad at him when we first started talking. I was like, I ain't fooling with you because you play too much. And he was like, no, seriously. I'm like, because my friend just sent me the same exact message. So I'm like, ain't this little boy you talking to? Sent me the same message. Facts. But I could go on and on. So, Anna.
Cody has scripts, boy.
I did.
We're saying what drew us to that person, right? Okay. So
keep it PG.
My ears are That's what I'm talking about. Babe, get off of me.
Anyways, pretty good. Yes, sir. I honestly was running from the idea of being with Norman only because I genuinely did not feel like I was like adequate, if that makes sense. So I was like, he is not gonna be interested in somebody like me. Like, okay. But I think what made me always what made me notice him right before I did agree was his genuine, like, first of all, he was just a genuine person. But I had looked over one time we were in service. If y'all haven't caught the drift, we were all at the same church. But we still were all at the same church. Yep. But I had caught him in service worshiping one day. I don't even remember what type of, it was like an afternoon service. And so I just like kind of just was looking around and I just looked over. And the way that he was just like genuinely in worship, I just remember saying, not necessarily him, I just remember being like, wow, God, like a man that worships you like that, like I would love to be in a relationship with someone like that. Mm-hmm. It was never like a, ooh, I want Norman. It was just like a, man, like I respect that. Like that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And like you, I'd never dated anybody where I didn't have to give them the Sunday school lesson, if that makes sense. And that's no shade. It's just, you know, like we just weren't, you know. And so I think that was what kind of made me notice him. And then when Monique came to me, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm not so sure that that's, I just didn't know that we would be compatible. But once we went on our first date is when I was like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like he, one, was patient. Well, even before that, now that I'm thinking about it, he honored the fact that he knew that I was not going to be like seriously dating. Mm-hmm. So we would just talk. Like it was very just like, just getting to know each other. And we talked on Facebook Messenger because he didn't use my phone number even though he had it.
That's funny.
He didn't use my number. So we just like talked on Facebook Messenger or whatever. And then he eventually asked, he was like, do you mind if I use like your number and like officially like call you and talk to you? And I was like, yes. So that was the first thing I was like, okay, is this game or is he really like just considerate, you know? And then when we finally went on our Well, before we went on our first date, he came to my graduation. But he didn't just come to the graduation and stay after to see me. Like, he came back to my apartment and he stayed and talked to my family and Dominique's family, because, like I said, we were living together. So her family was there because we graduated together. All of her family was there. All of my family was there. And he came and stayed at our apartment and just sat and talked with everybody. Him and my brother specifically sat there and talked for forever. And I was like, oh, Lord. If they're getting along, that's a good thing. But I don't know if I should also be worried, because I'm like, am I marrying my brother? You know what I'm saying? But I think that was, and I knew that normally anytime that our friend group would hang out, Norman would be gone at like 7:30. And we would be like, okay, yeah, Norman's going to bed, you know. And even though he did say, he was like, yeah, I didn't always go home and go to bed. He was like, that was like my cutoff, because he had to be up early and like be at work and stuff. But the fact that he was like there like past his normal time, because I don't think he left until like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I mean, just out here being reckless, you know?
Sometimes sacrifices need to be
Right.
made.
Exactly.
And so I was like, okay, like that, like he didn't have to do that, because we weren't officially dating. We were literally just talking. And so I was like, he didn't have to do that. And then our first date, he did his research. So he asked what was my favorite. He didn't ask me, he asked Dominique. He was like, what is her favorite color? What's her favorite flower? Like things like that. And we planned the date, so I knew what we were going to do. And he had flowers and a card for me. And then I was like, okay, you know. And then like the date felt it felt like we had known each other like all our lives. Like it just felt like we were just talking. And this is our first interaction with each other in this type of space. We had never had any one-on-one conversations or interactions up until this point. And we had known each other since 2010.
Yeah.
Or at least known of each other. And so for us to not, for almost 5 years, not have a conversation like outside of, hey, how are you? And that's it. We literally sat there and like just had the absolute best time. And it was the most simple date. We just went out to eat and we went to
Play golf.
yeah, we did putt-putt. Like that was it. And I was just like, that was the most simple date. And it felt like if I don't do this again, I'm going to be missing out on a huge part of my life. Like, it wasn't even in that moment that I was like, oh, this is my husband. It was more so like, I gotta experience that again, because it just felt like it was such a freedom. I also felt like I could be myself, and that just like his genuineness, his considerateness. Considerateness is not a word. Him being so considerate.
We caught what you meant.
Thank you, consideration. Woo. But also, Norman truly is the calm to my storm. Like, he calms me, even in the moments where he is irritating me when I'm already irritated. In a way, I know that that's his way of calming whatever is brewing. Like, literally, he is the calm to my storm. And what I think, knowing that him being genuine, which we all like knew that of him anyways, like we all thought he was a good guy, but knowing that he, like, it wasn't a facade, it wasn't putting on, you know, like, especially with him being a preacher's kid, you know what I'm saying, like, normally, you know, they look one, you get what I'm saying, like, most people's idea of that is like, oh yeah, they all button up at church, but when the buttons come loose, it all comes out, you know, but honestly, the only thing that I got was just even more genuine person. Like, and I was like, oh no, like he really is a unicorn. Like he really is just a good person. Like he is kind. He is thoughtful. Like he really is just a good person. And I was just like, okay, like.
I think I want to marry him.
Hello! I think we said I love you like within like 2 weeks.
Of course.
It was real quick.
Because you know what you know.
Yes. Like we really, and I was nervous because I wasn't as young as you guys, but I am younger than him. And so I was just like, I don't know if I'm ready for all this, but it felt like it was the most assured nervousness I've ever had in my life. Like, I'm like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm nervous about the timing. because I did feel like it was just, I just felt really young and like just too fresh for that. But I was like, this is the type of man that you don't pass up on this. Like, and not just because of like anything else other than just who he is. Like, he's just an amazing human being.
Yes, he
Thank
is.
you. I enjoy being human.
And on that note,
That's funny.
Well, guys, this was a time well spent.
Mm.
As you can see, you get to see the other halves of the
yes.
You're Not Crazy podcast. It is 14 years worth of friendship sitting on this couch, and we have all just kind of grown together. And so it's great to see and hear everybody's story. I love hearing love stories, how people come together. I'm sitting up here like I'm watching a movie. And
I was sitting here listening to, because I didn't know that Cody skate. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, hardcore. And I told him,
And
I
then
was like,
Tam told me it was for kids.
I said, who does
And I
that?
said, if you go to it, when we would go to Atlanta, I was the youngest person there.
I was like, you're lame.
Because
Who does
it was
that?
it was all grown ups.
Yeah, so.
Rest in peace to
And when I saw him
Golden Glide,
skate in real life, I was like, oh, that's kind of attractive.
I wish I
Cody
could.
was getting down. I said, oh, and I'm on the wall like this.
I wish I could skate.
Baby, I cannot.
It's a workout for sure.
Once
It's a
I get
workout.
out there, take me a minute. Once I get out there, then I can do it. Cody's like, babe, just do your. And he was doing all kinds of stuff. I said, sir,
Listen.
just let me. He got on rollerblades. No, you had on the floor. No, you had the floor.
I had a quad skates.
Somebody
I
else
can't
had
do
on-
no blades. I can't
But
do that.
anyway,
I can't do that.
so y'all, thank you guys for watching. This was a special episode to us, probably one of my favorites so far.
Yeah.
All of them have been really good. This
Really
season.
good.
Y'all. This has been great. But anyway, we love y'all, and we will see y'all in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can get
Absolutely.
all notifications of what we're putting out. And if you liking what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If
I
you
mean,
stayed
you
all the
might
way
as
to
well.
the end, I mean, you might as well, like she said. So
Might as
we
well.
love y'all, and we'll see y'all in the next video.
Bye.